Fasten your seatbelts, because I'm about to drive a truck through everything you have believed to date about engagement. Engagement is completely broken. There are so many pieces of the philosophy that's embedded in our engagement theory and practice that aren't connected to any evidence and, as I've researched, are simply untrue. A lot of people believe that engagement drives results. And we've heard that, and we've almost proved some correlation, but in the vendor hallway, we've moved it into causation. Now, you all remember your statistics class. Correlation is different than causation. How did we teach that? We talked about storks and babies. See, the whole wives' tale about storks bringing babies actually started with a mistake of taking something that was correlated and assuming it was causal. See, in Northern Europe in the late 1800s, they noticed a trend. When the stork population increased, let's say by 10%, the baby population increased by exactly 10%. When the stork population decreased, so did the baby population. Coincidence? I think not. And this is how we teach how absurd it is to assume causality. Because you know what's really going on here? A third thing is the harvest. Storks are migratory birds. When a great harvest happens, they go there. 9 months later, after a great harvest, babies are born. It seems that when mothers have better nutrition, live birth rates go up. I came from a farming community. It seems that when we have good harvest, we might celebrate with merrymaking. That result in higher birth rates, right? What do storks have to do with any of this and babies? Well, in this example, it was the third dimension, the harvest, that brought both of those. But most of what people hear is the wives' tales about storks bringing babies. Well, if storks, were engagement and babies were results, engagement might not bring results the way you think it does. What if accountability brought both engagement and results? What if accountability was the great harvest? And that is a whole different take on engagement. So how do we fix this thing? I believe that there's a couple ways to fix it. The first way is to absolutely get clear that if you have engagement without accountability, you're creating entitlement. Engagement is not a negative. Please hear me on that. But engagement, we've over-rotated, we've over-indexed on engagement, and we've undercut accountability, and it's creating entitlement. In fact, in healthcare, I find leaders who actually believe they're mutually exclusive. If I foster accountability and I really drive that, my engagement scores will go down. And that's where we've come when, in fact, they can both be used to support amazing workplaces. So the first thing you have to learn is about how the human mind works, because most of our leadership philosophy ignores this whole fact about your ego is not your amigo. Most people don't understand how their ego comes out to play. And in fact, we need to understand that venting is the ego's way to avoid self-reflection. And this is a problem because self-reflection is the main thing that cultivates accountability. And accountability is death to the ego. And yet when I first came on the scene, they said, Sai, one way to increase engagement is to keep an open door. And just be available to my employees whenever they need. They get to decide how much resources to commission, and they just can come to me. Yeah, okay. I bought a decorative doorstop with my own money. I'm all in. My door was wide open. I'm a researcher. I started keeping track of a few things. The average, hey, do you have a minute meeting? Lasted 45 minutes in length. My team seemed to be big liars. If they would have said, hey, do you have 45 minutes? I would have said, did you discover the cure for cancer? See, it seems that people could share any opinion, concern, or feeling without any shared accountability on whether or not it was true, on whether or not it added clarity, it was valuable, it was real, on whether or not they had gone to the person directly like a professional would. It seemed that they had zero responsibility, but could access amazing resources without regulation. And that concerned me. The typical conversation in my open doors We're judging, gossiping, tattling, scorekeeping, people not present, things that would never happen. The typical conclusion, please don't do anything, I just wanted you to know. Has anybody been to these? No, I love my people. I know that if you share a feeling, it takes a sentence, and the goal of sharing a feeling is to move through it. Venting is not feeling sharing. Venting is the story you tell yourself to keep the feeling alive and feel righteous and justified and feeds your ego, because egos eat anger for lunch. They see insult where there isn't any. And I found out that most of the people in my life didn't understand how their ego played them and didn't understand how their mind worked. It's as if they had a toggle switch on their forehead, a light switch. When they're toggled down, they're seeing the world through the lens of their ego. When they were toggled up, they saw the world using all of their intelligence. How do you toggle from low self to high self? Self-reflection. It was vital for me to drive engagement through accountability, which is founded on self-reflection. What are some questions for self-reflection? What can you do to help? So when you knock on my door, you're like, Sai, have you heard about IT and they can't manage the way of a paper bag and they're horrid and it's awful and Karen shouldn't even have this job and heads should rule? I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Non-negotiable, stop judging, start helping. I have a question for you. What did you do to help? What do you mean, what did I do to help? I'm in here telling you our colleagues are awful. I love that you're in here sharing love and concern for our colleagues in IT. On your badge, I always have, what did you do to help? It's my main non-negotiable. What can I do to help? Why don't you come with me? Let's find Karen. Karen, I'm so glad I found you. Tammy was in my office sharing love and concern about the IT group. And she has a question for you. Go ahead, Tammy. How can I help? Karen has answers. Well, when we have business requirement meetings and you tell your team they're not mandatory and we find out the day of conversion, the whole systems we didn't know about, that's just not that helpful. Oh my gosh, Tammy, is that something you can commit to? So personal accountability is the holy grail. We do a lot of work in accountability. People that are accountable didn't get that way through a skill set. And that's what most of your leadership development is, training people on the skill set of accountability. It starts with a mindset. It's a belief that they can have impact. It's about locus of control. We know that accountability has 4 factors: commitment, resilience, ownership, continuous learning. Commitment's the willingness to do whatever it takes. Resilience is the ability to stay the course even in the face of barriers. Ownership, healthy guilt, and pride is the acceptance of your consequences over time, because your whole goal is to evolve. I want to leave you with one thing. Don't ever use my work for evil. Everything I teach you is based on complete love of other humans. And sometimes the most loving thing to do is quit interfering with people's relationship with reality so they get good information from natural consequences, so that they understand that their own engagement, they're in control of. It's portable, and that way they'll be able to roam freely throughout the world. And what is the best gift to give somebody? Freedom. Thank you.